Hello. So this is no good. I mean, the whole thing's no good. But I work in a school. I've only been there for 2 years. This being like the beginning of my third. So they didn't know I had epilepsy. The people I work with every day. And when I got hired, you fill out the form. Do you have any of these conditions? I click yes. But day to day, people don't know. So I'm on lunch. But well, let's back up. The first hint was when I was still in bed at home, like the tiniest little. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, "Oh man, really?" That's her. You hear her. Oh, there she is. What you doing? I know. So the first little hint was at in bed. You know, barely a flutter. Got up, went to work. I get to work around 8:30. Now in class at like 9:30 or 10, there was another little flutter and didn't think much of it. I shouldn't say it like that, but you know what I mean. I know it wasn't a full one. That one gave me a headache. And then on my lunch at 1, about an hour and a half later, I go over to literally right across the street to get aspirin, come into the building, go into the auditorium. Next thing you know, that's it, right? Now, the first thing I remember is, waking up to our nurse, or who, I'm pretty sure our nurse was first that I remember. Because again, you always go out, and then you hear someone saying, Dan, Dan, you look up, go out again. So I remember her, the security guard, and the principal each, like one up, down, one up, security guard down, principal down. The whole time, or maybe not the whole time, but at some point after that, you remember a dude, you know, the medical team is there now. So I'm still in the alley. Is that the word? The row, but not the row of each chair. But I was in the chair, went down in the chair. They said they pulled me out of the chair, laid me in the alleyway, whatever you call it. So I'm in there, blah blah blah, blurry, all that good stuff. I know when they put me on it, because again, anytime you get woken up, you remember a little bit. So I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4", 200 and something. So all dead weight. And these two dudes were not that big. So either way, I remember them having a little, minute or two getting me on there, just enough waking up, going back out. And again, when I say going back out, I don't mean having a seizure. You're just in whatever world you're in. You know. Now this was the longest. As you see from my videos, when I was married, I would go like from, oh, here it comes, out, couple minutes, and then you just take like 5 or 10 minutes to recover. So the whole thing is only like a half hour to 45 minutes. Since my surgery, I've noticed the lag time between that. So from my first, here comes something, it might not even turn into a seizure, where before they always 90% of the time did. So it was good. You got it out of the way right away. So I would have like 2 big seizures a year. Now, since surgery 3 years ago, 2 or 3, this coming up on my third, I guess whatever they took out, epilepsy wasn't cured, or they didn't get it all out. So it got stronger. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. So um, they're no longer 2 strong ones a year. This is the second one. This is the first one that went into a full seizure, but this is the second time I noticed that they're longer. Like from the moment I'm like, oh nice, look at that. I don't even know what side I'm on. See that? Nice. The lag time, this time was hours. Again, not being in the seizure itself, but by the time they put me on the hospital bed, brought me to the hospital, called my poor friend who sat there for hours with me. Never happens. I usually, when I wake up, I'm like only a couple times, and by like the fifth or eighth time, say, I'm here. I might have a messed up slur speech for a second or two, where the words I'm thinking here aren't coming out right. But it was never hours between them. So, yeah, exactly, right? Back to technically even worse than square one, because when I got had surgery, I was married and my wife had an amazing insurance. We are not married anymore. Brain surgery is not cheap, and public school, again, don't laugh at me. Public school education is, or at least the one that I'm on, because I'm not a teacher, uh, has some, it has like medical, what am I talking about? Prescription and, or maybe dental and eyes, something like that. Not the main one. So I don't have insurance for that, especially, when they're trying to keep you in the hospital. So the guy kept saying, he's like, well, we can't just let you leave. I'm like, but you have to kind of, you know what I mean? So they would just say, all right, well, we'll let you go for another hour or so. Because in their mind, they're like, yeah, no, dude, you're still out, you know? In their medical opinion, they're like, no, dude, you're still messing stuff up. We can't just let you go out. And I'm like, all right, well, dude, but you can't just give me surgery either. They're like, no. So it took a couple hours, and then eventually I just signed something. Patient, I'm good, and we left. Now, luckily, it was on Monday, so Tuesday we had off anyway. Uh, but today I go back to work. I went back to work. My lord, was that not fun? Because the whole time you're nervous. You're looking at people. You're like, do they know? Do they know? Did the kids see it? Because it was at like my lunch is at 1 o'clock, so my lunch is from 1 to 2. The kids are done at 3:15. I don't know how long I was out before they even called the ambulance. Blah 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 blah. So luckily the kids didn't see me. Unfortunately, our principals, they told me today, made an announcement. We have a medical emergency. Everybody has to stay in their rooms or whatever. We're off the first floor. Now, there was no reason to say that. You know what I mean? There's no reason. They didn't use my name, thank God. But there's still no reason to tell the school there's a medical emergency. So everybody's freaking out. You know. Now, luckily, I did get out before the kids saw me. Um, yeah, right. Thank God that doesn't exist, but you know what I'm saying. Thank somebody that it didn't happen in front of the kids. But now I'm nervous that it will happen in front of the kids. And I won't be on lunch or have enough time to, these things that when you feel it coming on. This one, um, I didn't get it in time. And I think most of the time it's because my brain isn't aware. I mean, it's aware, but it's trying to like beat it, so to speak. This one didn't. This one was just like the first little one, like I said, in bed. The second one was bigger in school with the kids around. And then the third one was lunch out. So now it's just, you're nervous. It's like getting caught cheating on your wife or something. Now it's like all you think about is everyone's looking at you and thinking about it, you know? They're like, oh, so, and you know how teachers talk. Yeah. So they, every minute, not every minute, but everybody you saw was like, how you feeling? Oh man. They're like, too? They're like, yeah. Like, man, and I'm like, how are you feeling? Oh man, too? Like all day. Some of my friends or people I've become friends with over the 3 years, uh, they don't cry, not cry. Um, so the teachers, all they heard was something over the loudspeaker say, if there's a medical emergency on the first floor, please stay off the first floor. Or not please, but don't go down to the first floor. Around dismissal time. So I'm just paranoid, you know what I mean? Having a seizure alone is shitty, obviously, but having it at the school where you work that affects people you like and people that like you, especially children. Come on, really? So back to square one. But now, did I already say all this? Another great problem. So when I had my surgery, yeah, I was married with great insurance. I think I did say this. So I was married with good insurance, had my surgery. 3 years later, it's not working, and I do not have that wife and or anywhere near that good of insurance, public school system. But I don't have insurance, period. Like, because another thing your brain doesn't do is the things it's supposed to do, right? So, what is that? Murphy's law? Yeah, Murphy's law, right? So for months, I've been saying, dude, you got to get insurance, but I have two jobs. So basically, when I come home from working with kids all day, you're a little tired. My other job is a nightclub. So, you work till 2:30 in the morning. Uh, these are excuses, obviously, but still, I didn't have insurance. And I'm telling myself, oh, you got to get insurance. You got to get insurance. I'm like, oh, yeah, 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 that's right. I got to get insurance. Then you forget about it for freaking ever. And then you're like, oh, yeah, dude, you need an insurance. Forget about it forever. Blah, blah, blah. Uh, not that having insurance would have made this any better because I have insurance for the. Can you see that? Yeah, I have insurance for the stuff and my pills. I take my pills every day. So back to square one, but yeah, I did say this. I remember that now. Back to square one, but worse because now I don't have the amazing insurance or wife. Uh, but that's fine because you hate putting people through this. So my wife had to go through this a lot. So, you know, good for her. She doesn't have to, you know, but I don't know what to do. Uh, like anything, you just got to deal with it. But again, working around the kids, it's scary. I mean, again, the kids don't know, but it's scary for me to be like, oh man, I don't want to have a seizure in front of these children. Obviously, now the bigger problem is I work in a school that is like one of the. I don't want to name people and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like one of our nicest schools in our city. It's got like the highest grades and like all this stuff. Even though it's a public school, don't laugh. It's like, oh my god, wow, all right. So their parents are pretty intense. They got some good money. They got some pretty intense thing. Every parent only has one student in the school in their mind, kind of crap. So I could easily see this getting out of hand. You know what I mean? If this goes down and parents are like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. You have an epileptic working around children? Isn't that unsafe? What if he has a seizure as a 6-foot man falling on a child? Right? That's could be a real concern. Legally, it's not because I filled it all out when I got the job. So, you know, do I like working around kids? Love working around kids. Do I like working around kids with the thought of having a seizure on top of them? No. So, where are we then? Who knows? I don't know. Uh, it isn't easy, clearly, but up until the kids, it wasn't as big of a deal. Does that make sense? Yes. You don't want to be selfish and saying like, "Oh man, I hope people see me," but whatever, whatever weird shit. So yeah. So what is it? 15 minutes. Oh, that's the other thing. Time. Holy God. Which again, that was amazing, right? Because I would be out and like wake up in the hospital, be like talk to my friend, be like, oh man, what's it been like an hour? He's like, dude, it's been like a minute. I'm like, really? Or like two. I'm like, yeah. And then I would go out again, just like not again, when I say go out, I just mean like close my eyes on purpose, not a seizure. And I would just go, whew, and then I would wake up and be like, oh man, what was that? Like 5 minutes? He's like, nah, dude, that was like an hour. I'm like, really? No idea. Could not tell at all. And then, obviously, when you come out, you're like, oh man, it is dark. What the hell? We were in there for 7 hours. Now, all of them know, like my hospital surgery, I don't even think lasted that long. Like, this was weird. And again, like a good 2 hours with them just being like, all right, well, dude, we can't just let you walk out. I'm like, all right, come on, you have to. And then eventually, the doctor was chill and they're like, come on, man, you gotta like whatever, dude. So we signed whatever he made me sign and we left. He obviously had concern. He's never met me before, you know. So in Philadelphia, Center City is where they take all your like emergencies, right? I work in Southeast. A neurology department, the whole thing is in like West Philly, like heavy West Philly, like I don't know, like 20s, like no, maybe like 30s, right? So any kind of medical emergency, they bring it to Center City, Jefferson, they call it. Now, that isn't my main doctor, so there was a lot of like, and again, when you come out, you don't know anything. They're like, "What is your doctor's name?" I'm like, "I don't know, I have no idea." I because it's Indian and she's an amazing woman, and her last name is, oh my god, a million letters. I can't pronounce it to her face. Like I call her like Dr. R. Uh, so yeah, we eventually got it, but I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Yeah, so all that is to say back to square one, but now without a wife and no insurance, and I live alone and I work with kids. Yeah. So thank you for listening. Uh Look at that. Three people. Thank you. Uh yeah. So yeah, so we go back to square one, right? It's like, all right, so I didn't miss any drugs. Now the main theory is because my other job, I work in a nightclub, right? So I work at a school during the day and nightclub at night. That's a lot of hours. And the weekend, I highly doubt it has anything to do with daylight savings time. But Friday we had a meeting after. So either way, I was up a little later than usual Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday because we were out hanging out after work a little bit. All that to say, Sunday I didn't get a lot of sleep. That might have been what it was. Now it's never been the cause before. So mine never had a cause, or at least we could never figure it out unless you ask a couple uncles who say, "Well, you only had them. They only started when you got married or met your wife." Like, well, yeah, that's true, but you know. So 10 years I've had this crap. It did go away for a hot second, and now it's back. What do we do, right? Luckily, Not crying, not crying. All right. Luckily, the people I work with are all awesome women. I mean, it's 90, I would say 95% women. There might be a couple of men, but not who I work with to deal with. The second grade teachers. No one in that school is below sixth grade is a male. And yeah. So you hate putting people through. Oh man, here it goes. Don't. You don't like putting people through it, especially people you don't know that well. Luckily, it's Philadelphia public school teachers who have seen an insane amount of shit. So, not this in particular one, but you know what I'm saying. The school as a whole is a little sheltered, but the women that work in there, yeah, insane women. Insane in the best way, not the real way. So, thank you for all of them. Thank you for them, yes. And yeah, Philadelphia Public Schools people, teachers, people, faculty, all can handle a lot of situations. So, but it was just odd because lately we were getting like, well, we have a new principal too, but we like a lot of weird, odd drills. Like we've never had like, I mean, fire drills we always have, but we've had like other drills. Like if someone showed up in the hallway with a gun, where do you run in the room? Um, I can't even name the other two. I'm like, I don't even know what these are. But yeah, so I don't know. We've been on. The kids have been on alert lately. Luckily, they didn't see me, as I said, but they know there was an ambulance there. They know, and then the principal for some reason said medical emergency over the loudspeaker. So it freaked some people out. I mean, it freaked out the teachers and people that know me or don't even know me. But as long as the kids are chill, that's good. Now, the kind of job I have isn't a teacher. I'm a one-on-one, what they call them, right? So basically, it's troubled kids. Not I shouldn't say troubled. Um, in some form, troubled. Not like troubled, like they're getting raped or beaten or anything at home. Like troubled, like little cognitive trouble, so to speak. My kid is rough as hell. Punched his friend in the face, like his only friend, right? That they grew up. His mom, their moms work together. Their moms, yeah. Their moms work together. So unfortunately, they're unfortunately for the other dude, they're friends. Now we're talking with no real reason. He just punches him in the face because he couldn't do something he wanted to do. That kind of kid. You're like, yo, dude, you can't just punch him in the face, anybody in the face, but he's your only friend. Jesus. That kind of kid, right? Punches kid, takes his book and just rips it. You're like, all right, dude. Well, what the hell? His computer, like smash it. And but not smash it to break it, but like try to break it, like hit it and all. And you're like, dude, chill out. Doesn't chill out. All that good stuff. So now a lot of people's seizures are uh, what's that word? Like dealt by stress, right? And people know I work in a school, and they're like, dude, Jesus, that's like the worst place to work if you're stressed. And I'm like, right, but I'm not stressed. The kid's just a jerk, but it doesn't really stress me out. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you like them and all, but at the end of the day, you're like, all right, dude, you have a good life, dude. You move on. Good luck with that, kind of thing. Now, uh, I can see them being concerned working around kids and having a seizure. I already said all this. That's right. My bad. So whatever. I never know what I'm talking about, but look at that. The legs match up. I didn't even notice it. Kind of match up. You know what I'm saying. So thank you for paying attention. If anybody's here, life sucks, then you die, right? Thank you.